So, what is a tip? No, I'm not talking about when somebody gives you a hint on your math homework. I'm talking about if you order a $22 meal at a restaurant, you only have to give $22, right? I mean, that's the price, right? Well, if you give only $22 for a $22 meal, you're rude. And the reason you're rude is because you're supposed to give a little bit extra. Now, that little bit of extra money is called the tip, and the server, waiter, or waitress gets to keep it. If you don't give a tip, the server doesn't get paid, or at least they don't get paid very much. How much are you supposed to tip? Well, that's where the math comes in. The standard is to tip between 10 and 20% of the cost of the food. You decide how much to tip based on how good the server was. Usually, if the server forgets about the customer or offends them in some way, they're only going to get a 10% tip. But some people are very generous and give 20% anyway. So remember, if you ever want to become a waiter or a waitress, it's best to work at the most expensive restaurant possible because your tips will be bigger and you'll get paid more. Now, if we look at the bottom, that would be the fanciest restaurant where somebody pays $200 for their meal. Now, that might sound like a ton of money because it kind of is, but some people are paying for a large family and maybe they have a lot of brothers and sisters and they're at an expensive restaurant. Now, $30 for a tip might not sound like that much, but if you serve 10 families that day, you would end up with $300 in tips. Now, if you bought a meal for $22 and you want to tip 22%, what should your total cost be? If you said $26.40, that is correct. If not, you should check out a help video. So, our next question, what is sales tax? Well, it's a similar concept, but it's not optional. You're required to pay sales tax even if you don't want to. You might notice that if you buy something at the store for 99 cents, maybe a little piece of candy, you end up paying a little bit more, maybe $1.05 or something. Now, where do those extra 6 cents go? Who gets them? The government. Good old Uncle Sam. Well, you might be wondering, why does the government get to just take my money like that? Well, it's not all that bad. The government uses the money to build roads, schools, parks, really anything that you don't have to pay for. In fact, if you're using a school Chromebook to watch this, the government might have helped pay for it using tax dollars. Now, here's a question. If you spend $50 on groceries and have to pay a 6% sales tax, which is the Illinois law, how much is your total bill? If you said $53, that is correct.